The streets of Newcastle are filled with anticipation. There's a strange silence hanging in the air, as if the whole city is waiting for news that could change the course of the season. In pubs, cafes, and even casual chats between neighbors, rumors keep circulating. It's as if the fans know something big is about to happen, though it's still unclear what the club's next move will be. The only certainty is that the board is working behind the scenes, trying to give Eddie Howe the missing piece to complete the attacking puzzle. If you are a passionate Newcastle fan and want to follow every detail of this developing story, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Here, we always bring the hottest information, the most reliable behind-the-scenes news, and the analysis every Magpies fan deserves. Subscribing helps the community grow and ensures you don't miss any chapter of this drama that could define the season. The Premier League opener against Aston Villa made clear what many had suspected. Newcastle has strength, intensity, but still lacks a true number 9 who can finish when the ball needs to hit the net. The goalless draw sounded the alarm. The team dominated, created chances, pressed, but lacked someone to finish. This gap became even more evident after the distancing between the club and Alexander Isak. The Swede publicly expressed his dissatisfaction, affecting not only the internal environment but also the fans' confidence. The friction with Isak made headlines after his cryptic statements on social media, where he hinted at broken promises and made it clear he does not plan to return to Howe's squad. Without him, the attack lost its central reference. The wingers remain sharp, but the penalty area looks empty. And without that focal point, the efforts of Anthony Gordon and the newly arrived Anthony Elanga end up lost in aimless crosses. This absence forced the board to accelerate their moves in the transfer market, even amidst challenges. And here comes the twist. According to Sport Witness, Juventus has offered Newcastle a name that could completely transform the Magpies' attacking landscape. Serbian striker Dusan Vlahovic, valued at around £35 million. The centre-forward, considered a physical and technical monster, could be the key piece the club desperately needs to turn opportunities into goals and restore stability to the attack. The news hit the fans like a bomb. After all, Vlahovic is not just any striker. At 24, he has already shown in European football that he can be a leading figure. Standing at 190 meters, strong in duels, skilled in the air. With a natural finishing instinct, he represents exactly the type of centre-forward Howe needs. It's no surprise that Carlo Garganese called him a monster, and Nenad Bukovic, president of the Serbian Federation, went as far as saying he is more complete than Holland. Credentials that command attention, but it's not just about numbers or statistics. Vlahovic's arrival could give Elanga and Gordon a reliable central reference. The Swede, who came from Nottingham Forest, has already stood out as a provider of assists and crosses, while Gordon increasingly proves decisive with passes into the box. Together, they could supply a goal-hungry centre forward, turning Newcastle's attack into one of the Premier League's most feared. And you, following all of this, know how much these moves could change the club's future. That's why it's worth remembering. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss the latest updates. Here, every behind-the-scenes detail, confirmed rumor, and step taken by the board reaches you with clarity and reliability. Of course, it's not all straightforward. Juventus is willing to negotiate due to financial pressure. Vlahovic's €12 million annual salary weighs heavily on the Italian club's finances, making his continued presence unsustainable. In 2022, he was valued at £80 million, but today the asking price has dropped by almost half. This opens a window of opportunity for Newcastle, though it involves risks and compliance with financial fair play rules. Salary considerations could be a major obstacle. Since the Saudi-backed investment, Newcastle has been more cautious in the market, avoiding spending that could breach Premier League regulations. Considerable investments have already been made this summer, including Jacob Ramsey, Malik Theo, and Aaron Ramsey. Signing Vlahovic would require balance and smart negotiation, not only with Juventus but also with the player himself, who needs to be convinced that now is the time to shine in the Premier League. Convincing Vlahovic won't be easy. The Serbian, while open to the idea of playing in England, is not pressing for an immediate exit from Turin. He would need to believe that Newcastle offers the right project for his career. The Champions League campaign, the unique atmosphere of St. James Park, and a chance to be a protagonist could all influence his decision. It is up to the club to present the project convincingly. From a tactical standpoint, Vlahovic's arrival makes perfect sense. Howe has felt the lack of a focal point in his attack, someone capable of holding defenders, creating space, and finishing plays. Against Aston Villa, it was clear the team generates volume but has no one to capitalize. With Elanga and Gordon on the wings, the number of crosses and passes into the box could finally find a precise destination at the Serbian's feet and in his head. Moreover, his presence would command immediate respect. Opposing defenses would have to adjust their marking, opening space for others. This would raise the team's collective level, crucial in a season where the Magpies must handle both the Premier League and Champions League pressure. Howe knows that without a striker the team risks wasting crucial opportunities. The proposal for Vlahovic, therefore, is not just a market whim. It is a direct response to the Isak crisis and the urgent need to restore attacking stability. If confirmed, the transfer could be remembered as a turning point in the club's recent history. But if it fails, it could also expose weaknesses in the sporting planning under pressure to deliver results. And to follow how all of this unfolds, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. This way you get first-hand every development of this saga, full of tension, anticipation, and possibly the arrival of a new idol at St. James Park. Newcastle is in a hurry, but they also need to be smart. The transfer window won't wait. And while other market options vanish, Vlahovic emerges as a golden opportunity. If the board acts decisively and presents a convincing project, the Magpies could emerge from this window stronger than ever. Until then, fans can only wait, cheer, and believe that the next chapter will bring good news.